Hello there, my name is Doc Conrad, and this is my little preamble to the podcast. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who is a part of this podcast, including all the guests and the two wonderful artists who help bring this podcast to life. At Meloscav, at MELOSCAV, created the icon for this podcast, and at Doidaflower, at DOIDUHFLOWER, is the artist behind the visuals on YouTube and other social media sites. If you'd like to keep up to date with the show, follow the show on Twitter at CommsOpenPodcast. For the 8th episode of Commissions Open, I interviewed ShorK, a TF2 SFM animator, meme maker, and the project lead behind the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated collab. Created originally by Kitty0706, the Reanimated project aims to honor the legacy of Kitty, who passed away from leukemia, by retelling the story in 2D. The team is also holding a charity event involved with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. You can follow the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated project on Twitter at TeamFabulous2R, and the project lead and SFM artist ShorK at ShorkTF2. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Commissions Open, an interview podcast all about art in the digital age. Here you can hear the processes, stories, and lives of talented artists, voice actors, video creators, editors, musicians, and many other talented creators in the era of online work. I am your host, Doc Conrad, and today I have somebody who is the project lead behind a wonderful Reanimated short for Team Fabulous 2, a TF2 animation that I personally enjoyed by, oh my goodness, how could I go ahead and forget, Kitty0706, and he is the lead of the Reanimated project, ShorK. Hello, ShorK, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We talked a little bit beforehand about some things that we want to go ahead and, like, the flow of everything is how it's gonna be
Yeah.
for this interview, and so I think we'll go ahead and talk more about who ShorK is in a little bit. But why don't you go ahead and talk about Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated, like what it is and who's behind it. I know you are the main project lead behind, or at least the creation of it. Why don't you go ahead and talk about it?
Yeah, well, Team Fabulous 2, which is the original video, is a 17-minute long animated Gmod animation actually. It's amazing. People would say that it's a bit controversial sometimes, but no, it has great humor. You can really feel the personality from the creator, who is Kitty 0706, who we are honoring with this thing. You can really feel it in it. But that video really has inspired a lot of people, and that's why one day I was kind of like thinking back on this last decade, and I kind of wanted to thank like a lot of the creators who's inspired me. It made me happy and stuff like that through the year. And then Kitty was of course one of the huge ones, and sadly we lost him. So I thought maybe we could start a project, but it kind of started out as a joke at the beginning, but then it kind of became really fast, because I started asking friends if they would be interested in helping out and such, and they said yes. And I started asking friends who work with charity stuff if we could make some sort of charity for Kitty. And it all just kind of came together, and I realized that maybe we could do it. So I started working on an intro. So I basically have the first shot in the Reanimated. And when I had made that intro, I would officially make the whole project public and ask for the community's help, because it is really the community we're focusing on, how Kitty has inspired the community, and how the community has evolved and really learned how to do stuff mainly because of Kitty, and mainly because of his videos. And then we wanted to pay it all back by putting all our effort and art, with all our different styles, into reanimating this, not to make it better or anything, but just to say thank you to him for being such an amazing person and creator. And then when I made it public, I cannot believe, like, for a full 24 hours, I would probably get an average of 10, no, one DM per minute about people who wanted to help out. And that was so overwhelmingly positive, and I was so happy that it was really hard to keep track of, and I had to go in and talk with everybody and get them into the project, and we filled up within the first night. So I had to wake up the next morning and split up the whole video over. So we had like double the shots, and we had more animators join in, and then we filled up within the morning. So yeah, it was just really overwhelming, and it's a great project, and I'm really glad to be involved.
Mm.
Um, it's not it's not it's not a project that I say I'm doing. It's a project that the community is doing, and that's an important thing for me to for people to know. Like, I don't want any recognition for the project. I just want us to be able to do the project, to show off the community to the community, because the community is awesome, and a lot of people can forget that from time to time. But I think we're really proving it here with by doing this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Team Fabulous 2, for those who are not fully aware or outside the TF2 community, has been such an impactful video in my early childhood. Pretty much, there was a lot of there was a lot of like humor that I derived from this, like, and it still holds up. Like, the slapstick is just like it's still hilarious to this day. And it is just it was one of the few it was in the early times of the internet where, a lot of humor was like sequential, like, like absolutely, like going hard in like the slapstick areas, but Kitty did it right, and it really showed, and that's why it still feels like a hilarious and fresh to this day. And I'm glad that this Reanimated is getting as much of recognition as it deserves. And you said it filled up like nearly instantly, which I'm happy to hear. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you know, but I made a Twitter account for me to post all the Team Fabulous stuff so that people wouldn't have to follow me to get updates or something. And that Twitter account has 11,000 followers now.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than my YouTube channel and my Twitter profile combined. And those are like two different platforms I make different stuff for.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome to see how that people are interested in and supporting it.
Yeah, and
And also the fact that it's a charity,
Mm-hmm.
which is huge, that we have so many people, backing up the charity, and we're gonna start very soon to collect money and actually make perks. We have I have some perks I could talk about to you if you want to know about them.
Oh, of course,
They're
of
pretty
course.
cool.
Go ahead and talk about everything.
Well, basically, we're still kind of setting up stuff, but okay, it's kind of expensive, but since it is for cancer research, there's a certain amount you can donate, and then we actually have a certain group of people in our Reanimated project in our Discord server who will go ahead and they will draw you a personalized image which you commission. So it's like a commission, but it's for donation, and it'll be made by one of the people working for the project. And I think that's a very good prize we can offer them. I didn't actually come up with that. It was my friend Day, who works over at TF Connect, who came up with that. And I think that's one of the good things. And we're trying to work with other things like this particular kind. I don't know what to call them, but they make servers in TF2 where they add stuff. So it's unofficial, but they have their own servers where they make their own updates because TF2 is kind of lacking updates.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we're trying to work with them to add in kitty-related cosmetics that you could get by donating towards this charity. The charity, by the way, is of course fighting leukemia,
Mm-hmm.
which is a form of cancer. It's actually the one we lost Kitty to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it lays very near to a lot of people's heart, and I'm glad a lot of people understand why we do it and all of that.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and get this episode out as soon as possible. I want to go ahead and have this because right now there's a long backlog of these recordings that I have currently. But I want to go ahead and make sure that like this episode gets out as soon as possible. So this episode's been like is going to be like out like very soon, and I want to make sure that everyone can go ahead and hear more about this before it ends up being like past the release date, so that people can go ahead and donate to this charity. For the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated charity, for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which I think is like, not only is it a great source of like community coming together to give like back to the giving back, but it's great to recognize the work that Kitty has done to this community as a whole, and how even still like people can be united together by this by just like total strangers on the internet, all enjoying a video game, all coming together, finally getting themselves to fully enjoy this, like, so just getting a chance to go ahead and enjoy new a new retelling of this story. It's not a full retelling. No, my apologies, but it is a new like fresh coat of paint on this sort of classic video that has about like 17 like million views on the, I believe, last time I checked.
I think it actually has 24 million.
24 million now? Wow, that was been a while since I've watched it, but yeah, this video has clearly been like a part of a lot of people's like lives, and it's been something that I've continuously like come back and watch. Clearly not enough. I've unfortunately missed it since like 17 million is the last time I recall. But the video clearly goes ahead and has a lot of staying power.
It really does, and I'm so glad that we can do this. I mean, we are making it a bit fresh, but we're not trying to improve anything on it, because it's a perfect video. I would say that Kitty, by himself, on his own, he invented a new type of humor, which is what we use these days. Like, there is this one label for it. You would call it loud equals funny, but if you do it right, loud equals funny. That's how it is. And Kitty is great at it. And that's why we love to, you know, kind of paint over the video with what we've learned throughout the years and adapted from Kitty's videos. And, you know, just Kitty, it's great. I am very happy that I can work on this project with people. Another fun fact was that there was actually some other people who had this idea in mind. And this is where I started feeling really bad, because those people were actually some big community heads I didn't even know about, like, had the idea. Like, one of them is an editor for a very known TF2 YouTuber called NSLT. I'm very bad at recalling his name, but and the other guy was also an editor for him, and they wanted to remake it. And I didn't know about this until I had the project started. So, and I'm, you know, they were of course super nice about it. So we just talked a bit about it, but it felt really weird. It felt like I was like being picked up by the mafia or something, and I had to pay out money. But it was just that we just got it mixed up. They thought I somehow knew about the idea, but I didn't. And they also wanted to know why I'm doing it in 2D. And why we're all doing it in 2D. And that is mainly because of the fact that we don't want to act like we're in any way better than Kitty, because we're definitely not. And that's why we want to do it in another medium, so that Kitty's video and style can still stand on its own, while we have our video over here, you know, tributing his video. And actually, the 2D and other medium idea was actually came to me because of a very well-known YouTuber with over 600,000 subscribers called Daspo Shit, who used to know Kitty. And I, of course, before I started the project, I wanted to know if he thought it was all right if we did it. And he kind of, you know, shed some light onto the fact that maybe we should do it in another medium. And I was about to give up on the project because I'm not known or anything, so I was totally unsure whether or not I would be able to get 2D artists when I mainly know SFM artists. So I just I kind almost gave up, and I had like a night where I was really feeling bad because I didn't want to start something that wouldn't get done. So I had to sit there, but I got it together, and I chose that I went for it because I believed in the community, and clearly the community it just happened, and the community was so much more welcoming to the idea than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely understand the stress of like worrying about if you're going to be if you would be able to go ahead and live up to the honor of
Yeah,
what you're currently doing, and that must be an incredibly stressful thing, especially you being the project lead behind it. And it doesn't surprise me that that another group of people would think about like wanting to do a reanimated of this because of how impactful the whole because of how impactful his video was to the community as a whole. Like, and with the trend of Reanimated coming out more and more of it makes sense that it would come this way. But I'm glad that means that there's a lot of passion behind this project from like a lot of different people of wanting to make sure that
there
this is
is.
done
Yeah,
right, and that sounds
it's
excellent.
it means a lot to a lot of people, including me. So that's why you want to make sure you get it right,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't communicate out something that you don't mean. So it's very hard because you can go ahead and do something and not really think about what it would mean in other people's eyes, and then it could mean something terrible. Like they would think we were like, oh God, the Team Fabulous is so bad. Let's redo it. Let's make it look good. No, that's
Mm-hmm.
not what we're doing. And a
Yeah.
lot of people think it may be for cloud, credit. Like, oh wow, I gotta get in on this project because I will be famous. No,
Mm-hmm.
not like that at all. Honestly,
No.
if I would be a total dick, but if I could, I would replace our credits with just all the fan art, which we're asking off for the credits because it is for Kitty. We are gonna have credits, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but again, it's not about the cloud popularity. It's about the charity and about the project in honor of Kitty. And we
Mm-hmm.
really want to stress that it's very hard because a lot of people look at it in the wrong way. And I've been posting a few places about this on the internet, like Reddit and Steam. And there was always people who didn't read my full description. And then they said, whoa, so selfish. Why are you doing this? You
Mm-hmm.
can't just profit off of this. And then I had to explain it. And in the end, when I got to talk to everybody personally, they agreed with me and they were happy we were doing the project, which I'm very happy. And I feel sad and I need to talk to people when they misunderstand, like when they don't get what we're doing with the project.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm just afraid people get the wrong idea, and
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to people who don't know what we're doing because like this goes very deep. This is people say, "Oh, why are you doing this? You didn't even know him personally," and
Mm-hmm.
that's a thing we get a lot. And of course, I in particular did not know him personally. He is an idol to me and I loved his stuff. I am making this because of his YouTube character, not because of his personality. Even though, from what I've heard, I've started to like him in real life personality as
Mm-hmm.
well. But of course, I don't know as much about that as people who actually know him.
Yeah.
But we also have people working on the project who actually know him in real life. For example, this is a bit of a shocker for a lot of people, a bit of a shocker for me. One of the first people who contacted us and was like, "Oh, this is a great project, great," was Kitty's girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a surprise to me
Mm-hmm.
because while I was doing this, I was checking up with so many people that I totally forgot to message her. And after we made the whole thing public, I kind of felt bad because I realized I found her Twitter and I realized I didn't ask her.
Mm-hmm.
So I panicked and I was like, "Do we have to cancel the whole thing, or what do we do?" And she messaged me, "Oh, this looks great. Um, is there any way I can help out and all that stuff? I love doing all this in honor of for Colin." And that I got so relieved and so happy. And she made a piece of fan art that I think I will probably set as my phone background because it's amazing and it
Mm-hmm.
honestly made me cry. And now she's working with us on the project, helping out with some artistic decisions and promotional stuff. And she's honestly been super great about it and calm. And she's been telling us stories and telling us a lot of stuff so that this really goes deeper into the animation team as well than just, a guy on the internet. Now it feels like we know him.
Yeah.
Of course we don't, but this project has feels, okay? It really gets to me and a lot of people.
It's totally understandable why it has feels, and I would get your fear with like worrying about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's funny because like while I can understand your reasoning behind like the fear, like the whole point of it is to go ahead and be in honor of him and the video itself. So I think that it's understandable the reason why you would have that sort of fear in the first place.
Yes.
But it's also pretty obvious as to why that she would go ahead and be okay with it, because it's all about like it's all in the name of like what he's done and the impact he's had on the community and the internet as a whole has been something that is something that I cannot I cannot go ahead and like say has not been much less of like a meteoric impact on like the not only the
Hmm.
TF2 community but like the internet community as a whole. That is a major sort of it has a major role in a lot of people's lives,
It
people's
really does.
childhood. Like there's just a lot that goes through everything. We've talked a bit about a little bit behind the scenes, but why don't you go ahead and talk about the managing behind the project, because you are the technically the project lead,
Yeah.
and you've gotten of course permission from different people involved who've known Kitty, and you've also like worked with different animators. What's it all like working on a Reanimated collab? I'd love to hear more about it.
Well, first of all, this is a very weird experience because, well, people who organize these kind of things, I kind of people who've tried it before, but I would say for me, it's going very well, and a lot of people are actually thinking that as well, and I'm very glad that I'm not messing stuff up, but it's a weird experience, and but I've learned how to do all this. Like I've set up, I manage a lot of stuff. I manage all the animators, what parts they do. If they can't do them, I check them up. I get all the work in progress from them, and then I write them in. But that it's such an awesome experience talking to all these amazing creators who who are all here because of this one passion we all have in common.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome and incredible, and I love but it can be a bit hard to keep track of everything at every point in time. But I'm trying my best, and I am so glad I'm able to do it. But one of the main things that really gets me weirded out is just how nice people are and how small but still great our community, the community of TF2, it really is. For example, we have a 3D pod in our animation, which is a very small segment. It's 2D in the original, and that's why we wanted, to make an SFM pad, because of course that would look awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we brought in some SFM animators, and one of them I asked myself because that was like my vision and dream to get them involved, which I got them involved. But the other one contacted me. The first one was this animator called Italian Ninja, who I myself have been a fan of since I was 12. Like I remember being a stupid kid, and in Team Fortress 2, I would put on cosmetics to look like the people from her videos. And now I'm sitting here talking to her. She's like contacting me to check up, and it's just like, yeah, okay, this is what I knew now. Okay, I'm talking to my idol, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in lead. Okay, great. So
Mm-hmm.
it feels weird. And the other one is another animator called Gina Will, who I've been a huge fan of, and it's a big thing. We also have a few common YouTubers for a pod, because there's a gameplay pod where we, for example, have another person I've been a fan of called Uncle Dane, who I've talked to a bit, and it's still it feels weird, and I have to try and adapt to it. But I'm so happy. I am a bit of a fangirl sometimes. I don't talk to people like fangirl, but in my own mindset, I really am a fangirl, because it is so awesome, and it's also awesome to be the lead of something this big. So just having that in your head, it makes me so happy. And again, every time I manage the project, it's a joy. It's not a chore. I love it. The community is just amazing, and I love that we can all come together like this.
Yeah.
And I think everything is going very, very smooth. Where sometimes it may be hard, but I really think that this community has something in common that really makes us work together like a goddamn clock or something.
Yeah. No, I could sympathize with you, not in like the direct regard, but like making something and having people contact like come into contact like with you, and like people who you've like known for years as like a fan, and then realizing like realizing like, oh, the thing that has been going on is like working on that. I've had different like, not to fully go and relate, because you're not only doing a lot of work managing this project that's being manned, and it's all for like this good cause. But like, for instance, like to only in a slight similarity, this podcast is a lot is someone like that, with people who you've known for a while, and you've enjoyed their content for a while, and you contact them, and they're like, oh, of course, and you're stunned. It is something that like it's something to show that this whole community really is
awesome.
really the community of online creators is someone that is a lot more personal than you would initially believe, especially in terms of there being a good cause that you're doing, and the work that all of the animators and people working on the project are doing.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about how long have you been working on this project? We'll go ahead and talk this will be a little bit of the last bit towards talking about the project, and then we'll go and move on to you, ShorK, because despite you going ahead and like wanting to be selfless with like showing that the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated is all about like the work that has been put in by the community. This is still an interview about you, and your work is still amazing, and I want to talk about you as well. So go ahead and
Thanks.
so go ahead and talk a little bit more about the how long you've been working on this, and anything else you want to go and talk about the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated program. Reanimated.
Yeah. Well, fun fact is that it's actually like it's usually hard to pin down a date and stuff, but as a funny coincidence, it's very easy for this one, and it may seem like weird. Everybody's talking about how bad 2020 is. Of course, there's a lot of negative stuff going on, but actually, the whole project, the whole idea, sparked up on the 1st of January, which is where I thanked a bunch of YouTubers, as I said earlier, and then I just kind of started, and then on the 10th of January was actually when we published it. So and then we've been working on it since, and we've had 2 check-in dates. Our monthly check-in date is actually on the 14th. So we had a check-in day on Valentine's Day. That was really funny, but I totally forgot about that. So I may have ruined a few animators' day. But it's been great, and we've been working on it for like 3 months now, and it's coming along well. We have about 13 finished segments right now, and we have about 85 in total. So there's still a bit of people who need to finish their stuff, but a lot of people have not had much time yet to start working on it because of school and stuff. And now it's like a blessing in the disguise now that everybody's getting a bit of time off school, so they can go ahead and work on this. But we've all been working on a lot of different stuff. We also have artists. We don't just have animators, and those artists need at least as much praise as the animators, because they make it all seem professional, and they make us drawings for events, drawings for everything. We made a giveaway the other day where we had one of our artists redraw a scene, but as looking like a giveaway instead of the original scene from the Reanimated.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been working on it for 3 months, and I think it's great.
Yeah. I'm glad to go and hear that the project has been going well so far. That is one thing that I know that could be a holdup, especially with getting all these artists and animators together. But once they're behind something that's very passionate, that is not go ahead. It's not as difficult as you might believe, especially with it being somewhat short sections of each. Of each animation. So yeah, that definitely helps out a little bit.
It does, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to go ahead and talk about before we move on about this project that you've been working on and that the whole community has been behind?
Follow the Twitter to
Yes.
stay updated. Thank you to everybody, and thank you to everybody listening to this podcast and everybody outside supporting the project. It really means a lot to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't realize every single follow we get on that Twitter and every single like on stuff we say is it has made me teary a lot of times. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, and you can go ahead and follow the Twitter for the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated at Team Fabulous 2R. Let me go ahead and spell it out for the people at home. TEAMFABULOUS, the number 2R, and you can go ahead and follow that on Twitter. And be sure to go ahead and do everything that support. Go ahead and donate with the link from there on Tiltify, and you can go ahead and it's going to a good cause. The Reanimated is going to be an amazing art project that deserves to be shown to people far and wide, and I think that this whole project is going to be a very much welcome and wonderful part of the Reanimated the Reanimated trend that's coming up a lot. Now, with that all being said, you've been a little bit coy about who you are, ShorK, because you want to go ahead and mostly focus on the project, which is understandable because this project is amazing. But this interview is also going to be about you, although a little bit shorter. ShorK, let's go ahead and talk a bit about you. Who are you? I'd love to go and hear more about that.
All right. I am quote unquote ShorK from. I mainly make YouTube videos. I am an 18-year-old boy from Denmark who just loves TF2, and I've been playing the game for about 8 years. So, yeah, that's technically everything. You know, on a server, that's what you need. I collect P in TF2. That's...
Yeah, you collect a lot of Gerati.
I do. I have the world record. I don't know why, but you know. Yesterday I got married in TF2, so.
Oh,
It costs $100, by the way. And it's a stupid joke.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It was called the Gerati Gem, I believe.
Yeah. So I'm like friends with some people. This YouTuber also just DM'd me like, "What the heck? What are you doing?" Because everybody gets a message in TF2 when someone gets married, and it looked super stupid, but it's something I wanted to do because it's TF2 and I want to try stuff in TF2. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hilarious sort of thing to go ahead and actually be
try to make stuff down the comedy section, kind of. So if you like TF2 and you like, oh wow, I kind of like Uncle Dane, I like tutorials, I want to get smart. No, I'm not good at the game. I have over like 7,000 hours in the game. I can't play it at all. I don't know why I keep playing it. I'm super bad. I want to improve, but I like making the funny stuff. So I make the memes and other stuff.
Yeah. No, definitely, like I have not even realized that you have been the maker behind some of my favorite like some of my favorite like TF2 memes, just because like either people rip it or whatever, and I don't even get a chance to go ahead and see it before I get to go ahead and
Oh,
see it from you. Like there has just been there it's something I never even like fully realized has been that, yeah, the there's just you've have the ability to make like a ton of different people laugh. It's like the best part is like sometimes it doesn't even have to be like it's great that it is involved with TF2 and I get it on the in joke and it's hilarious, but like some of these things are like some of these jokes don't even need to be involved with TF2 and you still like land them.
I'm
And yeah, I love a lot of your videos. I've got to go ahead and I gotta go ahead and watch more, especially on YouTube, because I've recently found your YouTube. I've always found your stuff formerly on Twitter, like just from people
Ooh,
taking it. So yeah, you
wow.
diversifying is like definitely helped you out in that regard. But I need to get you more out there. Go ahead and follow him on Shork on Shork TF2 on Twitter and on YouTube.
Shark.com.
Yeah, Shork. Wait, Shork.com, is that a real thing?
No, 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 it's not a real thing.
We gotta buy
No.
that URL real quick.
But
Anyway.
honestly, I'm flattered to hear that. I'm glad some people enjoy it. I like to kind of think about, because now I kind of just make memes, and I like to kind of think and put some of myself into it and make them kind of, more than just as like one of those very easy ones you could make. So I like to put effort into them, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I don't know, and I'm glad people enjoy it. That was a surprise. I didn't know you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I know. Just from like what I've recognized, like, oh wow, wait a minute, you made that one. Oh wait, because I saw in your meme compilation that you've done stuff on where you've like you had a slight break from YouTube, about
Kind of, yeah.
and like a slight one, but you mostly put a lot of focus on your work on Twitter, and you uploaded a big one in a big like meme compilation between you and another creator. Um,
Yes, my friend Laurentio. He also makes memes.
mhm.
He's been kind of like replacing me on YouTube, I guess. I don't know, because YouTube is very much a gamble, and while I have some friends who are well known and like my stuff, Twitter would not be a gamble, and that's why I kind of went to Twitter, because YouTube was not working out for me at all. So I wanted to take a break before, trying my luck again, I
Mhm.
guess. But my friend Laurentio, who's also a great content creator, has been doing great on YouTube, and I'm so happy for him. Even though two of his most viewed videos were made by me, but I'm not saying anything. Uh, no, but no, he's great, and yeah, the meme compilation is between me and him, because I thought it would be funny to kind of put that out there, so everybody could see them together, and yeah, I
Mhm.
guess.
No, yeah, it's I'm glad to go ahead and hear that like you've been working hard on both YouTube and on Twitter, and that you have a sense of like collaboration with some of your fellow creators.
I love, talking to creators and community. Like whenever, so no matter what it is, when somebody reaches out to me, it's like the best thing I get. Like for example, when you reached out to me, it's like, oh, you want an interview? That's great. I love
Mhm.
talking to creative people who does stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be part of the community. I guess I'm very honored.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about like how is it that you come up with either an idea or like anything involved with like your YouTube or Twitter videos? Like is it just like trend go, or is there something else, or is there something else behind it? Like I want to hear
Yeah, that's
your
the
your thought process behind all this.
That's actually a thing. I've been kind of trying to focus and improve myself so that I'm not just a trend go, which a
Mhm.
lot of people are.
Mhm.
I okay, this is gonna sound very, very, weird, but I just kind of sit around, and then if an idea pops into my head, I'm like, That's great. I'm gonna do that. Sometimes it is a trend, but it's only because the trend is going on, and then I see it working out in the TF2 way. I really try not to rush an idea with a new meme because I'm not that good at that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of, if an idea comes to my head, I do it. And sometimes that idea does, involve a, does involve one of these like trendy memes. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had, which is a really sad thing. I had basically a peak on Twitter, like a few weeks ago, with two very trendy memes that I'm kind of sad I made. But those really looked like it was just trendy, and then I grabbed it.
Yeah.
But I made first. I made there's this meme about Thanos beatboxing,
Oh
and
yeah.
then
Oh
I
yeah.
thought it would be funny because Thanos is beatboxing and all the Infinity Stones are flying between his hands.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be funny. What if you like replace those with all the sandwiches that Heavy has?
Oh
And
yeah.
it could be
Yeah.
like when your medic is low, and then the Heavy is like, "Let me show you how to scratch it,"
I
and
remember.
all the sandwiches would show up, and that would be funny. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then I made that, and it was cursed, but it got a bunch of recognition, and I was like, "Uh oh, no, no!" And then it got more likes than a meme. I put like a bunch of effort into, it, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, well, I guess that happened." And then 3 days later or something, I was listening to the good old penis music
Yeah. Yeah.
from me
I,
as well.
I have to now listen. Let me tell you something. This is I'm gonna have to censor myself for the first time in this podcast. Let me tell you something about penis music. All right, I hate this meme. You made it tolerable. I don't know how you did it. You made this meme that I'm just like I constantly groan at to
Oh my
something that
god,
is
sorry.
something that is like to make it into
I
something
feel the same.
hilarious.
I hate it so much. And it's like, I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, I hate this. And then every time I would stream, I would have some of my friends just randomly talk about it. And I'm like, it's so annoying to listen to. And then there was one remix I heard and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of good. It was like a Footloose remix. And I was like, what if you mixed it with like a TF2 song? And that was one of the first times where I actually went out and tried to see if I could get something that would sound good. So I just went through some TF2 songs and I was like, oh my God. Like it just clicked when I heard the Intruder Alert song, which is
Mhm.
from Meet the Spy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if all the like three guys from the side of the Meet the Spy are just standing like looking into the incel room, which they're running towards in the original, and then the spy is already in there, and then it could be like the video.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
Uh,
I gotta make this. I think it was like 2 a.m. So I just went in and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna put all of myself into this because this is penis music, and I don't want that to be me. So I tried to just make kind of a quick one that still looked okay, and I uploaded it, and it got like 27,000 likes on Twitter, and I started a new trend where people would animate it, because people didn't used to reanimate it in another with another like thing, and then someone did it with Half Life, someone did it with Doom, someone did it with I don't remember what the next one was. Then people started doing it with CS:GO and others, and I'm like, did I just like start a sub trend? That's
mhm.
very cool. But I was still hating the meme. Like in my meme compilation, I actually turned the volume down, so it's way lower than anything else because I don't want it to like annoy people and be like, oh yeah, these original memes looks good, and then suddenly it's like, no, no, no. I really didn't want that, but I am kind of glad I made it because I guess it showed another side of me. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. No. That is like when I saw that in your compilation video. I was like, did he just rip? No. No. He made that. Like that's how my brain thought about it. I was just like, oh man. It wasn't even like a oh man he made this because I thought like. I didn't realize like how big that from what I saw like how big that video got just in like general. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
how does this guy not have more followers? Like that's the sort of thing like the recognition like you deserve of like how fun how like how like hilarious the work that you've done and everything all involved with that. Like that is just like You definitely
Wow.
deserve more recognition on multiple fronts. First off, you deserve more recognition for the work that you've done in like the Reanimated and leading that project and so on. Like
I
of course you don't want to go ahead and like keep it that way because like of
No,
course we
I
don't
don't
want.
want that to like give me anything. I don't want that. I don't
Hmm.
want to get a recognition of that. I don't want to be, oh wow, he's the clever
Yeah.
guy who thought of Reanimated, because the idea is like the simplest thing. You can be very non-smart and
Hmm.
still think of that idea as a
Well,
cash grab,
well,
but it's more than just a Reanimated idea. It's not for popularity.
yeah,
It's okay.
of course not. And like, and look, you've made mention of that, and of course you don't want to go ahead and be recognized for that. But what you should be recognized for is the hard work that you're doing to make sure whole thing happens. Because without it, like, sure, some of these ideas might have gone ahead and gone forth in fruition, and maybe it would have turned out in some sort of different way or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that you've made this. You've worked with tons of different creators. You've gotten people on board. You've organized the whole thing, and you've gotten people to go ahead and work on and make this whole thing like a charity sort of case. And of course, there are people who have worked on it as hard, like as hard as you have, and those people deserve credit as well. But you also deserve credit for working on this whole sort of thing. That's step one, number one.
Well, thank you so much.
No, and
Like, I'm not used to get this many compliments. What am I supposed to say? Thank you a lot. That really means a lot. It
yeah,
really does.
yeah, and also too, you deserve more credit for the humorous work that you've done. Like I would have never like put two and two together that you had done that sort of you had done that meme without like recognizing that without like you have been impactful in like in the comedic space as well, and like meme videos are the future. I'm saying it right here right now. Meme videos are the future of comedy.
That
Late night TV hosts out of here. TF2 meme
means like a
videos
lot.
to the roof. Invest now. But
Invest. Yeah, I guess.
stonks.
Thank you so much. Like I actually haven't been making videos for a while, so I was so happy to get back into it when I made the compilation, because I tried to put more originality into it than just a compilation. So made like I edited basically a thing in TF2 so that it says meme tracker instead of
Yeah.
con tracker, and I added in like a pog emote. I even switched out some of the letters, which is a thing nobody's gonna notice, but I think it's funny. I switched them out so it says pog instead of map. And I took letters from certain things, and I love working on those details. And it took me a whole day to actually put that compilation together, and I ended up having like over 230 layers in my editing software, and it was crashing. And I've been editing for like years, and I feel like I'm pretty confident I can still improve by a long shot. But I feel like I know what I'm doing, but apparently not, because I started rendering this thing, and it took 2 hours, and I was like, what? And I was sitting with my girlfriend talking with her the whole time, and it was like 3 a.m. for me. So I was like, why is it taking so long? And then when the video came out, I checked it, and it was 100 GB big, and I
Oh
was like,
wow.
what the what? And then it was because I accidentally rendered it as you would render an asset, like a 3 second long asset for a stream. So I
Oh.
rendered it so that all the stuff that didn't have a background would be invisible. And then I was like, oh my god, I am stupid. And then I had to go ahead and render that into an MP4, because uh, that would be smaller, and then I could delete the original one. And then I got it rendered into an MP4,
Hmm.
uploaded it to YouTube, and I'm like, I am back. And then like 20 minutes later, I was like, oh my god, the converter fucked up the FPS. Then I had to delete the video. Delete the video. Then I went ahead and I deleted the 100 GB file. And then I thought, okay, I may as well just delete some of my other files in that format, because they're like way too big, and I need space on my PC. So I deleted them, and then I was like, okay, it was 4 a.m. and I had to re-render the whole thing. I was like, okay, I'll re-render it in another format. It'll be fine. So I went in, re-rendered it, and that took. No, wait, no. I was gonna re-render it, and then like almost halfway through it, I realized when it showed me the video, there was like missing textures, and I was like, what? And then I realized I deleted some of the videos in the video. So I had to go in and find the MP4 versions I thankfully had that I've uploaded to Twitter, and then I had to put those in to the video, and then I had to re-render it, and then that render failed, and I had to re-render it, and it took like an hour, and then I uploaded it, but the file was 50 gigabyte, so it took like an hour and a half to upload, even though I have great internet because of the file, and then I was just so dead. It was 7 a.m.
Ugh.
and it was like I would have acted off like cool as if nothing happened, but the thing was I accidentally uploaded it earlier
Yeah.
and advertised it, so I had to like be okay. Yeah, I freaked up, but so yeah, it's when people think everybody's professional, we're not. A lot of us are not. We're just stupid.
No, 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 no. Listen, as someone who has who is also uploading very large files, like I can't, every single week I upload an hour-long video. So
Yeah.
I can feel your pain there, brother. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, there is definitely a lot that goes more into the video editing and video production space that a lot of people don't happen to realize. And I'm glad that you've like shown this and brought this into and brought it forward into more of like a path where like people can go ahead and see like the work that has been made is a lot more difficult and can be a lot more tedious than a lot of people tend to realize.
Yeah, but a lot of people also get a thing wrong. They think that video editing is exciting to look at. So it's like some of my followers ask me for an editing stream, and I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll teach you all how to edit. And then it's like, okay, so then you do this, and then I sit for 30 minutes and don't say a single word because I'm focusing on all the keyframes. And
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
"Wait, did you get that?" And it's like, they're like, what? This is boring. I'm gonna leave. Yeah, takes time.
Yeah, there's yeah to say that especially with the intricate work that you do, editing is not a is a it is very much a process that you see and you recognize to be like it feels amazing when it finally gets done and recognizing the process and recognizing like this is the process that you did and you like get to see the final product and it's out there and people get to enjoy it as well. Like that's where the dopamine hits, but editing it in the
Yeah,
process
it
of it,
is
that's not where it happens. Like to the outside
really
viewer,
not.
like you don't see the final product. You just see like all the little bits that you've done, and that's where like a lot of people don't understand. And maybe there's like technical aspects people can go ahead and like, oh, this would be cool to go ahead and watch to learn. But there's just yeah, it's quite a bit it's quite a bit like different than compared to like the full video being uploaded.
Yeah, it is. And also, I'm gonna go ahead and Uno reverse card you with all those compliments
Oh
because
no.
people who know stuff about audio, I just want to say I have huge respect for you. I can. I'm like, okay, half of my family are musicians, and I'm sitting there like, how does this mic work? I bought a $200 mic, and I'm still like, how do I get it to sound good? Why does it sound like heck? And I sit there for hours and I can't figure it out. And then people who's good with audio are just amazing. And yeah, and your audio sounds awesome. And I'm just here like, yeah, okay, my mic sounds like a Best Buy $2 headset, no webcam microphone.
I I appreciate it. I did. I mean, like I'm glad you go ahead and think that that I've done a bit well. I know there's a lot more people who are a lot more professional than me, and of course, like the skill ceiling is like very much like to the moon in terms of that. But I'm glad you go ahead and
Yeah.
think that I'm talented at that. I do appreciate it. But uh.
I listened to your Fiverr stuff and I was like, oh, this sounds good. And then I clicked on the next one. It was just you screaming. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, audio. Woo. But it was a good scream.
uh,
So credit to that.
appreciate
Check out his Fiverr. His
You
scream.
check out yeah, check out no no no. This is a I appreciate that. Shork, thank you so much first off for doing everything that you've done involved with the work you've done in the Reanimated collab, the work that you've done, bringing joy to a ton of different people, especially in the TF2 community, with your jokes, with your memes, and everything you do there. Is 100% very much appreciated, the work that you do. And I hope that this podcast will get people to tune into you more, and be sure to go ahead and subscribe to you on YouTube, follow you on Twitter, and follow the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated project on Twitter as well to eventually go ahead and watch that. Again, that is at Team Fabulous 2R for the Reanimated Twitter. That is at ShorK ShorKTF2 on Twitter, and on YouTube he is ShorK as well. You can go ahead and find him just typing that all in. And
also, I'm the guy with the spy.
Yes.
Because there's actually funny quick story. There's been two animation channels who make animation memes who suddenly out of nowhere changed their name to ShorK, and then both of them got more subscribers than me. And I don't know why they do that. That's happened twice. One of them changed the name back, but right now there's one who just changed the name to ShorK and then got more subscribers than me. And they always do it right before they get more subscribers than me. So I don't know how it works. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should change my name to ShorK.
Yeah, yeah. Change your name to ShorK. Go ahead and follow him. And he's currently the spy with, like, what is that, like 6 arms of Girardi?
Yeah, I haven't updated that picture in a while. It's kind of it looks a bit weird, but yeah, that is yes.
You can go ahead and follow him on Twitter, on YouTube, and the Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated on Twitter as well. I want to go ahead and say thank you so much for, like I said, all the hard work that you do and the hard work you've done to go ahead and make this process. I want to thank every single animator who is listening to this podcast. Hi. I want to go ahead and thank you for the hard work that you have done. Every single person who's been a part of this project has been absolutely amazing for what you are doing, for the legacy of Kitty 0706, and I am so thankful that I got a chance to go ahead and interview you and bring this podcast to a new light of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was really an honor to be here. I'm happy that we did it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Commissions Open. If you would, please follow this podcast on whatever app you use. I would most definitely appreciate it. If you're just listening, that's perfectly fine. However, if you'd like, you can also watch this podcast on YouTube to see a custom commission every episode for each guest I have on, as well as to see the wonderful podcast set. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Comms Open Podcast. That's COMS Open Podcast on Twitter. Finally, you can follow today's guest ShorK on Twitter at ShorkTF2. That's ShorkTF2. And you can also follow the Reanimated collab on Twitter at Team Fabulous 2R. That's TEAMFABULOUS, the number 2R. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.